What's left in the denominator? Okay, so we did that. We did the Q. What about this P right here? Yep, it's negative, so can we flip it right now? Let's flip it right now. Okay, so... Alright, good, okay? Mike, what's next? Okay, what can we combine? Okay, what do you get?
They all done.
2108.
2108, great. Keep going. Let's flip the R. Keep going. So we did the P's, we did the R. Which one's bigger? Okay. How'd you get that? What'd you do to them?
908 subtract 103.
Good. And 19 over 24, where does that go?
Top.
Yep, in the numerator. Why in the numerator? That's where the number was bigger at. 9 over 8 minus 1 over 3. Ooh. Y'all just go home. Leave class every day, so grateful for these calculators, don't you? Thank God we don't have to do this by hand. I do not want to add and subtract all these fractions by hand. Ooh. Ooh. C. Edwards. What was your password? Was it 123? That'd probably be the smart password to do. And it was. Pregunta número uno. Questions number 1. This 3 over 2? This 3 over 2. This one? I got this 3 over 2 because I flipped, because it was a negative exponent. Right, there was nothing for, no other R's down here, so I just kept it. 3 over 2. The Q's, I subtracted exponents because there's one in the numerator and one in the denominator. Number 2. It says subtract. Let's see what you said. You said, ooh, kind of a strange mix of A and C with a couple other answers. What did you do first? Volunteer? Lenore? Very good. So the first one stays the same. The second one, change the signs. Okay, so what did you put? Yep. What did you change these to?
I just changed the minus to a plus.
So you changed that to a plus, okay.
The other one to minus.
What about the x squared? Yep, it should be negative. So what do I write?
Plus.
Let me rewrite this because this is so ugly.
Yeah.
3x squared minus 5x plus 2, and then what?
Plus.
No.
Minus 2. X squared. Plus 3 minus 4.
Change the sign of everything in the second expression. Leave the first one the same, make it plus, and change the sign of everything else. Plus and negative just means minus, if anyone's confused about that. Alrighty. Good start, Lenore. Eric, what would you do next? Okay, what can you combine? Yep. What do you get? Negative 5x, positive 3x, 2, negative 4. Okay, what do you get? Answer choice.
You know, at first, I didn't know we had to turn the same. I just thought we had to turn it on the side.
So that one tripped up some people. Definitely, I pulled that straight from the EOC. So,
I didn't know you had to, when you had to change your time.
If it's a mean.
if it's a subtraction problem in the middle, because it's saying subtract all of this, so that means take all of this and do the opposite of it. Take your warm-up, set it aside, and look at today's notes. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. For the past week, you have been multiplying and dividing fractions. But today, I'm not multiplying and dividing. I want to add and subtract fractions. And so, before we do that, let's go back to 3rd grade. And in 3rd grade, you learned how to add 1/2 plus 1/3. And you needed to find something called the common denominator. And the easiest way to find the common denominator is multiply the two denominators together. So in this case, to find the common denominator, you'll do 2 times 3. And 2 times 3 is what? 6. So now my two fractions will have a denominator of 6. But the question then is, what's the numerator? You know, we changed the denominator. What in the world is going to happen to the numerator? Well, it's pretty simple. To find this numerator, start with what you left off with, and we're going to multiply by kind of the cross-reference. So 1 times 3, and over here you're going to have 1 times 2. Now what you should see is that 1 times 3 is 3 over 6 plus 2 over 6. So is 3 over 6 equal to 1/2? That's what we want. Okay? 3 over 6 is equal to 1/2. And 2 over 6, is that the same as 1/3? Yeah, so we have the same fractions, but we've rewritten them with a common denominator. Now, once they have a common denominator, because we cross multiply, you can add the numerators. So what's 3 plus 2? 5. And the denominator stays the same. Remember that? And you're done. If you need to reduce the fraction, you would reduce it. Every time. If the denominators are not the same, you multiply them together. To find the numerator, you cross multiply. Add the numerators, keep the denominator the same. You know, I'm not gonna baby you as much anymore because you're juniors and seniors and a few sophomores. If you need to write those steps down, write those steps down. I'm gonna keep repeating them. So if you need to write them down at some point, write them down. Your college professor's not going to now listen. Step 1, please write carefully. No. He's gonna expect you to take what he's saying and interpret it into your own notes. Synthesize. Okay, let's do number 2. Well, what did we do first? Multiply the denominator. So what is our new denominator going to be? Yes, I agree, 24. How do we find our numerators? Cross multiply, so 3 times 6 is 18. What's our second numerator? 20. 5 times 4. 5 cross multiply times 4 is 20. Now that I have the same denominator, now I can add the numerators. I agree, 38 over 24. Am I done?
No.
Why not?
Yeah, simplify.
What can that simplify or reduce to? Your calculator is opposite. That's number 12. Okay. So why did we go back to 3rd grade? to kind of give you an idea of the steps that we're going to be doing today. So, as we get started, take a look at number 4. And now we've got variables and some exponents and other stuff jumbled in there. Okay, so first of all, you always have to check, is the denominator the same? In this case, the denominators are the same. So this is an easy example. Write your denominator and add the numerators. It's in a different color so you can see it. Take your numerators and add them up. And in this case, when you add the numerators, you should understand, just like we did in the warm-up, all you're doing is combining like terms. And I hope you understand, I'm doing everything for a reason here. I did this for a reason. Over here, I'm doing the exact same thing in the numerator right now. X minus y plus x minus, what is that, 3y? X minus 3y. Combine like terms. It's the exact same thing. Now there's a plus sign, so I'm going to do x plus x, which is what? Not x squared, no. 2x. This is addition, not multiplication. I know for the past week it's been x times x. Now it says x plus x. What about negative y plus negative 3y? Nope. Add them and keep the same sign. If the signs are the same, they're both negative. If the signs are the same, add and keep the sign. Now let me ask you again, are you done? Here's what you have to look for. How many terms do we have? 1, 2, 3. You have 3 terms. If there's anything that all 3 terms have in common, then you can reduce it out. Do you see anything that they all have in common? What about x? Do they all have an x?
No.
Nope. This one doesn't have an x. Do they all have a y? No. Is there anything that they all have? Let's talk about 1. 1 would be pointless. But what about the other coefficient? Look at the coefficients. What do these have in common? 2. So divide everything by 2. 2x divided by 2 is 1x, or just x. What's negative 4 divided by 2? Yeah, negative 2y. What's 4 divided by 2? 4 divided by 2. Oh, I misspoke the answer, didn't I? I was thinking ahead. I apologize. I stole your thunder. You were ready to answer correctly. Subconsciously misspeak all the time. See, I didn't even notice. So let's review. Step 1. Check to see if the denominators are the same. If the denominators are not the same, multiply them. Step 2. Add or subtract the numerator. So here you would subtract the numerators. Here you would subtract the numerators. Step 3. If you can, combine like terms. 18 plus 20 was 38. X plus x was 2x. After we had this, what did we do? How did we go from here to there? Find the GCF, reduce. Okay, so reduce. No, if they all had an x, then you could reduce an x. No problemo. Alright. Questions? Because of the y. What now? Y to the 4th? Yeah. What? Does this have a y? Bollocks. If that had a y, we could reduce a y. Since this part of the numerator does not have a y, we cannot reduce y. Okay, we're going to do a couple more together. For example, consider number 10 before we turn over to the back. Number 10. All right, number 10. How are denominators? Are they the same? Ah! What do we have to do? Okay, multiply them. So, when you multiply 3m times 2m squared. Ah, wait, we got to back up. We must back up. Now watch this. You'll save yourself a lot of time in the end if you look to see if these fractions can be reduced at all. Is there anything in these fractions that will reduce? Over here first. 4 over 3, does that reduce? What about the m's? Oh yeah. You can reduce those out. Yes sir, yes ma'am. 3 over 2, no. Mn squared, no. So, this fraction is now just 4 over 3. Okay, now back to what we were doing. Let's find this common denominator. Six mn squared is our new denominator. Alrighty. What's next? Okay, find the numerators. By cross multiplying, you say, okay. I like that, yep. 3 times 3 is 9. Right? 3 times 3 is 9. Alrighty. What next? Hold on. What's the numerator? What's the numerator? Over what? Okay, so once you have a common denominator, then you can add or subtract the numerators. Can we reduce? What do they have in common? 9 doesn't have an m or an m. What are you trying to reduce? Listen, here's what y'all are forgetting. There are 3 terms here. All 3 of them have to have the same thing in common for you to be able to reduce it. So I don't know what do those 3 all have in common? Nothing. So that's my final answer. Finito. Don't try to do any extra work. Questions right now. We're going to do one more together. Number 7, what would you do first? Nope, before that.
Look at the
Before that.
see if you got it come.
4 over 4 can reduce.
Reduce the number.
Right? 4 over 4. No way, Jose. So you're going to reduce that. That's going to be, let's see. Those cancel out. And then, can't you also reduce an x? So it's going to be, that goes away. It's going to be 1 over x squared. So, you just rewrite it. 1 over x squared plus that. there's nothing left in the numerator, you have to put a 1. You have to figure that out. Now, take your paper and flip it over. Hard work. We've got one more to do together. Our last one together for today. Number 16. Nope, check. Number 4. Nope, 16. Nope, 16. Alrighty. What's first?
Try to reduce.
Is there anything that you can reduce in the first fraction? Nope. 2 and 4, you can't do that because m doesn't have a 2 or a 4 or an 8 or anything else even. There's 2 3s, but what about this? Does that have a 3 in it? So, can't reduce it. Remember, it has to have all 3 terms have to have the same thing in common. Alright, so we can't reduce. Now what? Take the denominators and multiply them together. Now when you do that, what's going to happen? How do you multiply together 2 binomials? Or the claw. Ooh, Lord Jesus. We need some help remembering here. M times 3m. 3m squared. M times -1. M times -1. Wake up, people. Come on. -m or -1m. -12m. +4. Can you combine like terms here? Almost done. Last problem together. Last problem together. Yep, -13m. So you've got 3m squared minus 13m plus 4. That, my friends, is your new denominator. Ooh, we're going to need some room here. Let's go underneath here. Three m squared minus 13m plus 4. 3m squared minus 13m plus 4. Step 1. Can you reduce? Step 2. Multiply denominators to find your common denominator. What was step 3? Cross multiply to find your numerators. Okay, so what is my first numerator going to be? What do you multiply together to find the first numerator? 2 and what? 2 and 3m take away 1. What do you get when you do that? What's 2 times 3m? 6m. What is 2 times -1? Yep, -2. Don't make this, see, some of y'all are getting scared. It's our first day doing it though, so I understand. But some of y'all are getting scared. All you gotta do is follow the steps. My second numerator. There we go. All right, can you subtract those two for me? 6m minus 2 minus 3m minus -12. 6m minus 3m, good. It's 3m. What's negative 2 minus negative 12? I would use your calculator to make sure you don't make any mistakes. Negative 2 minus negative 12. Did you, Chelsea, what did you say? Did you do that in your head? Very good. Negative 2 minus negative 12 is the same as, minus negative means plus, so negative 2 plus 12, positive 10. Are you done?
No.
What are you going to reduce? Wait. So you're saying that there's a number or a variable that goes into 3m plus 10 and that goes into 3m squared minus 13m plus 4? If you say 3, 3 doesn't go into 10. What else? M doesn't go into 10 or 4. What else? None to reduce. None but a box to show that that is your final answer. You did that in your head. You're 2 minus it. You did that in your head like that. You can't hide from me with your smart brain. Sure can't hide from me. Because you practice. If you practice then, you can't hide from me. I found you. You can't. I caught you being smart. You can't hide from me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know the drill. Time to practice, practice, and practice some more. Front and back of the first sheet only. Oh, I didn't put out the second sheet for y'all. Good. I got smart. There were 2 sheets. We're saving the second sheet for tomorrow.
We gonna have like
30 some.
we gonna have like 30.
Reduce the fraction if you can. Multiply denominators to get a common denominator.
What is like in figure like in the like 2 feet, like on number 14 at 2 feet at the top end of
Remember, you have to think of 2p minus 1 and 2p minus 8. You have to think about all 4 of those terms right there.
so on.
There's nothing to reduce there. Correct. Follow your steps.
What number?